the Prison City Podcast. When the bars go up, you're officially locked in.
Welcome to the Prison City Podcast. I am the official host, Patrick W. Cutler, and we have a banger of a show here for you today. As we round the holiday season, I want to do something that's actually not related to holidays at all. And this is a project I've been working on for several years. However, this came up pretty fast. I had a couple hours this morning to really prepare for it. I'm going to be presenting on the multiverse mini worlds theory, parallel realities, quantum jumping, and quantum physics, and roundabout into one big doctorate thesis today, which I think everybody saw coming the entire time. Right, Mahomes?
That's honestly, yeah. When I figured we'd sign in today, I thought, probably going to touch on the multiverse and just get really deep into quantum physics. Because I think, for the three people that are still listening, they know us to be like deep scientific, like quantum physics-y type of guys. So really excited to touch on some stuff again that I don't really know much about. It seems to be a theme of this entire podcast.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think about all this?
I think this is a good episode for Mr. Mike Freeze himself. He probably has oodles to talk about on this subject, but I guess I'm in Mahoney's boat. I'll chime in when I can, but I don't know shit about anything.
In a parallel reality, Mike Freeze is the only one doing the podcast right now. That'll be the first step, baby steps in this today, guys.
Okay.
And Kelly knows actually what I'm talking about for the most part, huh, Kelly?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good subject. I think most normal people, common people, like to sit down on a Monday afternoon and talk about quantum physics and parallel leaping and jumping and everything. So we just fit the mold, man. We're just average guys here. I think there's a lot of people doing this right now.
Just a couple, four guys just sitting around talking shop. What else?
Yeah, I'll just warn you though. I've never actually seen Quantum Leap, so I have no clue what the movie is about that we're talking about.
And it's actually, Kelly, it's a show from the 90s that my family used to watch all the time. So if we're talking about that show, I can probably pitch in.
Well, in my world, it's actually a movie. It's not a show at all.
Oh, so you're in a parallel. No wonder your background looks so different.
I'm in a different universe, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
If you understand the show Quantum Leap, it's kind of the same concept in a lot of ways, except you don't travel through different realities with some friendly guy that has like a little device calculating things what you're supposed to do next, unfortunately.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. So
hey, speaking of the Mandela Effect, what Home Alone 2, Marv's earmuffs that he steals from the kid while he's ice skating, that scene? What color do you think those guys? What color do you think those are?
White,
gray. No, brown.
pink. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought they were pink. They're actually orange.
Oh.
Yeah, which that's just a small thing. But I was watching, I was like, man, I would have never got that right. I never thought those fucking things were orange because they probably weren't 20 years ago.
If people want
Thanks a lot, Bush.
People want to start with the very basics of like parallel universe and reality shifting stuff like that. Just go back right now and think of any movie you really like and think of some of your famous quotes off that movie, and you'll go watch that movie again and the quotes will not be what you thought they were. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah. What was the one I just told you about the other day, Pat? Oh, it was a comedy night that we did like 10 years ago, and we always quote this line from this comedy night, and we watched it the other night, and the line like isn't anywhere close to how we quote it. And I think just over time things get over exaggerated and stuff. And I mean, like Mahoney on Going Nowhere in the courtroom. What was the thing that we always said about Jace Feldy? We chanted it. Remember? In the courtroom?
Any second now.
Yeah. Any second. You go back and watch it. You're probably more like, yeah, he'll be here any second now. But we like blew that up so big. But that's just one example.
Kind of like, you tell your dad I'm a mother.
That wasn't anywhere close to that.
not even a little.
So to start things off here, I'm going to try to break this down into the four different sections here, which is the multiverse theory, quantum jumping, quantum physics, and then the end part's my thesis on a few different things. We'll start out with the multiverse theory, also known as many worlds theory, parallel realities, or multi-dimension theory. And basically, the overall structure of this theory is that there's an infinite number of realities that exist for everybody, like an infinite number. Like you can shift between those different realities by doing different things, but we all have endless amount of realities that we can possibly shift into that exist. And you've seen this in movies. A good example is like the Avengers movie. There's an alternate reality where they all fucking lose and they go back and they change it and they all end up fucking winning. This is they've actually ran experiments on this exact thing. It's really fucking interesting, and that's what I'm gonna show you here right at the bat. The crazy thing is this episode might blow your mind a lot because I'm going to use a lot of factual experience and things of that nature to show you how this can exist. But at the same time, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy theory, and I'm not like saying something's factual or not factual, just stuff to think about. So when it comes to the multiverse theory, parallel realities, the first thing I'm going to go into is it's called the observer effect. And an observer effect is pretty simple. And it's the sense that the matter or something changes depending on if you observe it or not observe it. And I'm going to go through a couple examples here of how this kind of happens. They've done these several different experiments on this. And basically, this is a simple picture here. Before observation, the wave was spread out over time. This is diving into quantum physics here a little bit. Then after the time of observation, the particle will localize the space-time event. Now, to kind of simplify this as much as possible, I'm going to pull up this image right here. Here's the observer effect image. It's almost like a PowerPoint I'm doing for like Montana Tech or something.
No, do I have to pay you after this for this presentation?
Here's the best example of image of the observer effect. This is called the two-slit experiment. It does have anybody can research the stuff after the show if they want to. There's a lot of stuff out there. So in the two-slit experiment, double slit experiment, when an electrons pass through two slits, it acts as a wave and produces an interference pattern similar to light. But when a detector is placed at one of the slits and the electron is observed, it behaves like a particle and an interference pattern is not produced, as if the electron knows it is being observed. It's really fucking weird. It's like when you observe something, it changes it to some degree. And the third step I want to do on this theory is this is called the Schrodinger's cat experiment. Now, have you ever heard of the Schrodinger's cat experiment, Mahomes?
No, but I have heard of Dane Schroeder, and if he's listening, I hope he's doing well.
Better speak up if he is listening.
He was just at the show yesterday.
Yeah.
Fuck's that noise? Oh, that's the dude's working.
That's the construction guys, so I'm just going in and out of mute.
Oh, and so that's like we didn't know that was happening because we didn't observe it, and then Kelly farted super loud and then blamed it on construction. But what he said, I observe that as construction, even though it's bad gas from prison pizza.
Yeah, you clearly haven't read about the Schrodinger's cat experiments.
Imagine this is like a college class and trying to do a serious presentation.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit too much like college class. I really have a hankering to go out and smoke some dope in the parking lot.
I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing in this class? I'm gonna fail this shit. I have no clue.
Matt's taking notes. Is this gonna be on the test?
Yeah. At the end, that's what's really nerve-wracking when they lecture you like that. Better be taking notes for the test at the end. You're like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, I think everybody listening, you got to pay attention to this early stuff because this is where when you get down to the stuff that like, oh, there's no way that can happen. I'm gonna come back and mind fuck you on this earlier stuff.
Can it be a mind fornication, a little gentle? I'm not looking for a problem.
It depends how you observe it.
Okay, see, that it makes sense now.
All right, let me go to my next slide here. This is the last slide for this part of the section, and we can discuss a little bit. So Schrodinger's cat here. Basically, what they have is they have this cat set up in a box. There's like a flask of poison and a radioactive source are placed in the sealed box. If an internal monitor detects radioactivity, the flask is shattered, releasing the poison, which kills the cat. And then the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics applies that after a while, the cat is simultaneously alive and dead. Yet when one looks in the box, one sees the cat either alive or dead, not both alive and dead. This poses the question of when exactly quantum superposition ends and reality resolves into one possibility or the other. So you go back to just kind of make that more simple, go back to if something's observed, you observe one thing or the other, but in two different realities, you would observe two different things. That's kind of what they're saying there. Does that make sense to everybody so far?
Sort of.
It's yes, and it also seems like maybe that person who did that experiment just fucking hated cats and just wanted to kill as many as possible. I think that's kind of the vibe they're putting off.
What do you think about that, Kelly?
Well, I'll have to talk between drills because they do the loudest fucking shit the second that we start the podcast. Haven't been here all day. Oh, the podcast is going. Anyways, they were I'll get back.
God, it is fucking loud over there. Holy shit.
It's never been this loud. I mean, it's weird that we're talking about this quantum shit because it's never fucking been this loud the entire time they've been over here. Or maybe I just haven't noticed it. Who knows? But I don't really understand I didn't really understand the cat thing because I couldn't hear half of it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's all this shit that you're talking about is interesting. We've talked about before, changing your own reality. Nobody says that you have to sit here and live in the live in the universe in the reality that you are in right now. Like you could literally pack your bags and move to Japan like tonight if you wanted to. I mean, none of us would do that, probably. But isn't that crazy that you could change your reality that quickly? You could do anything that's outside of your normal life, and instantly your life would change, in some capacity.
Holy mother of Christ, what are they doing there?
I don't know. It sounds like they're gonna cut the floor under his feet. We're gonna look, and he's just gonna fall like a cartoon.
I've never heard it this loud. It's fucking ridiculous. And it literally just started 10 minutes ago.
This is my punishment for trying to do this serious fucking episode on quantum physics. Matt, you have something to say there?
Yeah, kind of going off what Kelly said, that's true. I think some people do in reality choose that, like, okay, I'm done being myself, you know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, I'm going to be a woman. Why? Because I want to be. I think some people do that on a scale as far as like humans go. Yeah. But as far as the cat thing, I do kind of see what he's saying, like cats living and dying at the same time because of the force or whatever is causing this to happen. I kind of see that, but still it's very gray.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, and you watch a lot of videos online, and they say we're constantly shifting through different parallel realities. Like I sit here and I decide to take a sip of my tea, and that leads to a whole other string of events compared to if I just sit here and chug a beer like Matt. I'll probably end up in Montana here at this podcast.
Now that I can understand.
Let me unmute myself so you can hear my laugh.
Unmute yourself so you hear that drill laughing.
What was that? It was just like this for 2 hours. No, Pat's exactly right. Every single move that you make is changes your reality. It really does. Like me doing this podcast right now upstairs in a construction site.
My God, what is
I think they're just fucking down there, honestly. Okay, I'm out until they're done.
Well, good.
I think they're fucking with you. I think they can hear when you start talking, and they're just like, all right.
Yeah, maybe they don't agree with what you're saying. So,
yeah. Let's go, Brandon. They don't make a sound the rest of the day.
Yeah, the guy with the drill does not. He believes in only one universe, no parallel.
You're just destroying the house right now.
He's locking you in your house to say you in that one universe.
Yeah. Hey, this is your one universe where I fucking destroy your house. Enjoy it.
It's weird. Weird. I am locked in this room, and there's a little vial of poison on the ground. I think he's doing the Swarngens experiment on me.
Schroeder's cat.
Yeah, he pops his head up. Well, he's dead.
But he's alive. Yeah, every decision you make just leads to something else.
As a drill chimes in. The drill just finishes every single statement for him. What a weird fucking day. Yeah, it's snowed last night. I got a cold, so I can barely talk, and now I got drills going through Kelly's fucking apartment the entire time. Definitely.
I've done this. This is getting ridiculous. I've done this podcast in a bathroom in Miami, so I thought this wouldn't be the worst one, but we'll see. Maybe I'll have to switch rooms here halfway through, but just keep going with your slideshow here, Pat.
All right, now the next slide is a shot of all of us on vacation 10 years ago. The next thing I'm actually going to go to is as I tie this kind of together. So you have the multiverse theory of many worlds, parallel realities, multi-dimension theory, and then adding on to that, you have these concepts of quantum jumping for how you can actually jump between realities and jump to a reality that you desire, one that you're a millionaire or whatever, or it could be something really simple, something different than that. But the quantum jumping, kind of like the movie Quantum Leap, is the idea that you can jump between these infinite parallel realities and dimensions or whatever you want to call them. So I have a video here, which is a really fucking interesting video. If you go on YouTube and search or go on Google, just search like stories about waking up in a different dimension or a different reality or whatever. There's a ton of fucking stories out there that are really crazy and will blow your mind. And this is one of them that I've always loved listening to. This is from a YouTube channel called Strange But True Stories. And this supposedly is a true story. Again, there's no way you can possibly prove this at all because it's just fucking impossible to prove. But the detail and everything, the guy telling it, whoever wrote this story about jumping another dimension over, it's so fucking interesting. And it's the story about a guy who basically was going through stressful times or whatever, went to bed one night and woke up in a completely different reality. And it's just really interesting as fuck to listen to. So I will play this video now and mute everybody. I'll mute everybody but that drill. More drill, please. All right, here we go. Let me actually share my screen here.
And since I haven't talked in the last 5 minutes, they haven't drilled once. Come on.
Oh, shit. All right. Here, let me share my screen.
A jump into another dimension. Have you ever heard of the multiverse? The idea that we all live simultaneously in infinite parallel universes? That there is another you in an infinite number of realities, with each fork-in-the-road decision splitting off into another reality. The what-ifs are more like what-ares, just in another realm. We just aren't aware of it. We only see and experience one reality at a time, because our brains can't handle all that information of multiple realities. It would make us crazy. Physicists talk about string theory as a way to point to the possibility of the multiverse. In string theory, everything is composed of vibrating strings of energy, and that string theory equations have an incredible number of solutions as opposed to just one. The tough part for people to think about is that we can jump mentally to another us in other universes. In theory, we are doing it constantly without realizing. We can jump accidentally or on purpose, but in order to protect the paradoxes and our sanity, every time we jump, we cannot remember our previous lives in other universes. We gain those new memories as if they were the memories we had always had. For example, you are married to Amanda here in this reality. You go to sleep and, by accident, you jump during the night and wake up married to Christine in another reality. You would be a little freaked by that, right? Now, you won't, or at least you shouldn't, because your new memories would tell you that you have always been married to Christine and you won't remember anything about Amanda. But I do. I remember my wife, my Amanda. I woke up one morning not too long ago next to a woman who is not my wife. There were kids in the house, and those are not my kids. She tells me they are, but I know they aren't. For whatever reason, I still have memory of my previous reality. Several weeks back, when I was in my original reality with Amanda, I was struggling. I had just been laid off of work, we were struggling with our finances, and I was under a lot of stress to find another job so we could pay bills and survive. One night, I was not having any success falling asleep. My mind was worrying about everything going on: money, job, family, rent, food, over and over and over. Now, I had heard about the multiverse and had even read some weird things about being able to jump from one realm to another. I imagined myself with a lot of money, a great job, Norman Vincent Peale's power of positive thinking on a much grander scale. I wanted to provide for my family. A few days after, I began to see owls. Not just a few, but a lot of owls. I dig owls, and I had read that seeing owls was a good sign. Maybe my life was going to make a turn for the better. And I was right. It did change, but not as I expected. A few days later, I woke up next to a woman that was not my wife. Well, she is, in this realm. At least, that is what my brain tells me, but somehow it doesn't feel right. In this new life, I have another family. I live in another, and I have to tell you, a much nicer house. I have a good job and a lot more money than I did previously. But I know this is not my life. I am burdened by the memories of my past reality. I only wanted more money, not another family. I miss them so much. I remember Amanda perfectly. I remember going to my kids' soccer games. I remember that crappy job I got laid off from. Believe it or not, I want to go back. I tried the same technique again, but nothing has changed. I'm lost in this new reality, in this dimension. A lot of the things look the same. I even went to my old house looking for Amanda and the kids. The house was there, looked the same, but there was another family living in it. Nobody knows about my Amanda. I tried social media, but she's not there either, and even if I happened to come across her, would she remember me? My current wife is really worried about me. She and her family want me to talk to a doctor. But I know I'm not crazy. It's not fake. It's too real to me to be fake. I am beyond desperate. You are not supposed to remember your past or your life, but I do. I remember so much about that other world that I came from. If it had happened like it was supposed to and I had no memory of Amanda and the kids, then I'd be just fine, right? Happy even. Christine is a wonderful person, and the house and the money and all the other stuff is cool, but I know she is not my wife, and sorry for those kids, but they are not mine, though I'm certain a DNA test would prove otherwise. I don't want to be mean, but I don't love them. I love mine, the ones from my true reality. I miss you, Amanda, and no matter the problems, I want to come back to you, wherever you are.
Well, what do you think of that, guys?
I think that guy had some of the most powerful mushrooms anyone's ever had while on a walk through like an owl observatory. Just his whole life has been turned upside down.
This is not my life.
I hate my kids.
Kind of sounds like the plot of The Family Man, you know. This is not my wife, this is not my kids. But
This is not my dog. No.
It's not my dog. Yeah, that's interesting shit. Again, I believe in parallel universes, and I feel like there's infinity, there's endless ones, you know, and you could be in any one at any time. It's just based off of your decisions, you know. You could stand up and quit your job right now, go get another job, or go get another wife, or another girlfriend, or become a Mormon, or, you know, fly to Japan, like I said, or whatever. And that's going to drastically change your reality. So, but this guy, I'm not exactly sure because we didn't get a lot of context there. Like, you know, what Pat, I guess maybe could give us more of a backstory on who this guy is or what this. You know.
So they submit stories online to this channel, and they pick some to tell on there or whatever. There's also one of those guy. You should look this one up too. It's a really interesting guy. A traveling guy from another dimension he's stuck in an airport, and his passport is from some countries that don't even fucking exist. And he has all these things on his passport. It's really interesting as hell.
I've actually seen that. Yeah.
Have you seen that one? That's interesting as fuck. It kind of goes along those same lines. But like you were saying, that if you do have a parallel reality shift, you're not supposed to remember the previous reality. That's what that guy says. But I think one of the signs of anything happening with the owls and stuff is you research that too. When you see like a lot of birds, like a flock of birds or something like that, that's one of the theories that like nature is telling you something is happening or whatever. It's really kind of interesting stuff. What do you think about this, Matt?
I thought the video was kind of creepy, actually. Kind of just sitting here watching it. It's kind of creepy just thinking about, because like, I don't know, whoever told that story did a great job at it. Like, I could listen to that shit and be like, oh man, this is really freaking good and intriguing. So props to whoever made that. Now, as far as like that stuff, I guess one comment I'm thinking of kind of goes back to the Mandela Effect, where you have like these dreams, you go to bed, have a dream, you wake up and you're like, man, it's so real. And I swear to God, I lived that moment, but I cannot nail it down. Or maybe I didn't, I don't know. But I kind of relate to that maybe, so in a dreamlike state, I guess.
I think I can go on that too. I think for me personally, especially because I kind of in no man's land for the last couple of years, is like you feel sometimes like there's something else going on. There's something else there. There was another reality, and that might be one way of looking at it. Have you ever felt that way? Like, I don't know, there's something like you can feel it, but you can't see it. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think that, and I mean, every one of us probably has like multiple things we can look back to in our lives and been like, what if I did this instead of this? Like what if I never moved to a different state? What if I stayed in Montana my whole life? What if I dated this girl instead of the girl that I'm married to now? Like all those different what ifs that we can probably, there's like kind of landmarks in our life that we can look back to. What if I took a job that was on the East Coast? Or, just little things like that where I've had opportunities and made choice A or B instead of vice versa. So it's really interesting to think about. And it's like, part of me wants to be able to have like some sort of room where I can sit in and look at all the different things that have happened in these other universes to me when I did make choice B instead of A. Yeah. Like it would be it's fascinating to be able to actually see what's happening.
And on this podcast episode, I'm going to show you how you can. No, there's a guy that I'll talk about here in a little bit. He's created a meditation. It's called like transerving realities and stuff. Really interesting techniques he uses to kind of look at different realities and different things or whatever. But like, I think that's kind of me. It's like, it's not so much like I want that other reality so bad, but you could feel it almost. How do you explain? Like, I would like to just sit there and just compare the two. Like, because there's that part of you, there is a part of everybody that's like, yeah, just be cool to go with that just for a little bit, check it out and then head on home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Had I taken that job on the East Coast, what would my life be like? Would it be better? Would it be worse? Is it generally the same? I just live in a different state, like really interesting shit.
And then for me personally, as I done a lot of stuff, especially like really sporting stuff last couple of years, you really feel it. And like, what are the odds that I shifted out of a really fucking shitty reality and somewhere in my head, I still feel the remnants of like, man, should I go back to that reality? But I don't even know what it fucking is. Cause like you said, this guy, when you're shipped, you're supposed to like not remember things. So sometimes, it's like where you are right now, it's probably a better reality than where you were previously if you were in another alternate reality.
So you're saying we're always chasing a new reality per se, or because you want what's best for you, obviously, and those around you. You're always chasing like, God, if I had this or had this, I could have, you know what I'm saying? When sometimes what you have now was like more than you need, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you should always look around sometimes. Think of everything that we fucking have. Mahomes talking about being grateful and stuff, and think about this. And this is one of the things that I've read too. He says, like, think about something you really fucking wanted in life. Like you really wanted this thing. And then, you could just feel the desire. And then think about how you felt after you got it. you know what, it was cool for like 5 seconds. And then you're like, right. And you're like, oh, okay. Like I really wanted a teaching job. It was really cool. Actually, it was cool for a couple of years. And it's like afterwards, it's like, yeah, this kind of sucks now.
Yeah. It's like buying a new vehicle. Oh, it's great when you first get it, show it off to your friends. Next thing you know, you got to get it registered. You're paying insurance and monthly payments. You're like, holy fuck.
Well, and I always think about money that way too. It's like every single year, it seems like you're having the same struggles. You're always worried about money and how you're going to pay your bills and how you're going to live. But that's what you were worried about last year and 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. Ever since we left our parents' house in high school or whatever, you're worried about money. Are you still here? Are you still alive? Are you still fed? Or do you still have a house? It's like, why the fuck are we still worried about this stupid shit that has never, ever been a threat? You know, it's never even come close to being a threat.
Oh, especially today, because we're as rich as we could possibly get. And that's why I hate the news, and like people and me and Mahomes don't fucking watch the news or any of that shit, mostly because it's so fucking negative. But we're the richest people we've ever been in history, in the richest country. And because technology keeps advancing, we're not going to get poor anytime soon, ever. Like we're supposed to be 3 to 5 times richer in like 20 years. Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Well, another thing I'll add, I think we've all had that, you know, we all, I guess, been married or gonna be, whatever, had those experiences of a long-term relationship. But I think we've all had that in the back of our heads, like the high school crush or the one who got away. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would have been like had I actually, you know, if it all worked out with this other, you know what I'm saying? Then I guess the older you get, you're like, shoot, if that would have happened, my views are totally different from this person. You know, you fall for someone because you're attracted to them or something. But I can see that kind of in that sense.
Or I would say like this question kind of for like Mahomes a little bit is like, how often have you decided not to do a relationship or something entirely not based on that person, your attraction to them or anything at all, but simply based on you future projected events that would happen if you got with that person? How many times have you done that and said, I don't want to do that?
I mean, not necessarily that deep. It's more of just like you kind of look to the future and you kind of just like, man, I don't know. This one doesn't seem to make sense. And I think everyone talks about you go with your gut, right? And who knows, whatever draws us to that like gut feeling of doing this thing or that. Because I've been with the same girl for 15 years. So it's been a long time since I've had to make that like this or that choice. But at the time, there was another person that was like, had shown pretty significant interest. So I could definitely look back at that and be like, okay, what made me choose this path instead of that one? And there was somewhat, I had a past experience with that person that wasn't bad, but it also like kind of predicted that I thought I was making the best decision for me to not get burned in the long run, I guess.
And that I like that ending part, because my reverse on that is, how can you, whether it be me or anybody else, how can you possibly fucking know when you future project on like a relationship or something? How can you honestly possibly know that's going to happen? Because 99.9% of the time, what you think is going to happen doesn't end up actually happening. It's like the worst case scenario in your head that replays over and over never usually happen. That doesn't mean you made the wrong decision, but it just means I think a lot of us, including myself, future project way too much on things when probably should have said yes to a few more things. But I don't think there's a single person out there that doesn't live with some regret, right, Kelly?
Yeah, it's like the old mantra, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. We always think that like being with somebody else will be better. Or, you know, when you're single, you want to be in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, you want to be single. I mean, it's like you live in Deer Lodge, you want to be in Chicago. You're in Chicago, you want to be in Deer Lodge. The grass is always fucking greener on the other side. The happiest I've ever been is literally in the last 4 years or so, because I've just decided to be happy in my present moment, in my present location, no matter what I'm doing. We go on the road for DOS fruit and shit. That's awesome. But I'm just as happy sitting here drinking a cup of tea. I just try to enjoy every fucking moment of every day. Let me cut those fuckers off before they get loud again.
Hey, enjoy the moment.
Enjoy the moment of you.
Everything I say has to be like, it's like the old mantra, the grass is greener on the other side. Back to you, Pat.
You're just like screaming into the microphone.
You're like, and spread joy this holiday season. Would you shut the fuck up?
All right. As we move along here, this is only going to get deeper and deeper. So There's a guy named. Have you guys seen the movie Eternal Sunshine and Spotless Mind? God, I said that so wrong. With Jim Carrey, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, long time ago.
So you had that guy, the doctor or whatever, the head doctor that does that thing where he eliminates the memories or whatever, and they're chasing the memories inside his consciousness and all this stuff. This guy specializes in his name's Burt Goldman. He specializes in quantum jump, and this guy, tell me, does he not look exactly like the doctor off of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? There he is, right there. But his theories are like not the same as that movie, but his theories are like in the same realm of like he takes you through a meditation to have you quantum jump into a reality that you desire, and you get this deep meditation stuff, and it's interesting. You guys should all do it, unless you don't want to end up like that guy in that video and you don't know where the fuck you are.
I was gonna say it sounds interesting, but it also sounds like, what if I get stuck in the wrong one?
Yeah. So I've done a couple of these. Nothing big happened. Just I got divorced and the global pandemic hit. So, so a word to the wise: don't try that unless you kind of know what you want, and then it's going to work out.
Yeah, pull out the old Jim Cameron. Never get married during a total eclipse. The old Jim Cameron.
But the last thing I want to say about quantum jumping, and we head on to the quantum physics behind this, is that there's a lot of meditations for quantum jumping and things out there. There's like endless. They're really interesting. Do they work or not? I couldn't tell you. Well, actually, I can. Yeah, they work. No. So moving on to the quantum physics side of this, and this is where we get into like a lot of the experiments and stuff. This is where it gets really fucking interesting, becomes a lot less theoretical, more practical. So quantum physics, you got to go back to E equals mc squared by Einstein. A lot of people don't know exactly what that means. Basically, what he's saying is that energy creates matter. Here's one of the quotes he has is, what we call matter is energy whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. So what he's saying basically is that without energy, you can't create matter. Quantum physics, when it comes to the things we're talking about here, is that the mind creates matter. There's a bunch of experiments that your thoughts and the things you say and the things you focus on create your physical reality. And there's a bunch of examples to go through right now, but one of the things I would say is that the human brain is so fucking powerful. Few people know how powerful the human brain is. It's like if you connected every single computer today together, it'd still be not as powerful as a human mind. That's what slows down the process of developing a real good AI or robots or whatever, is that it's so hard to mimic the human brain. It's so fucking advanced. So what we're talking about here is I'm going to go through a couple real life examples of thoughts creating reality and different experiments ran by different doctors, psychologists, and everything else. There's a study conducted by psychologist William Broad. You can look all these up, by the way. He was able to demonstrate that human thoughts can affect the direction that fish swim and the movement of other animals such as gerbils. He had some experiments, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of details. This is from the book, The Intention Experiment. And what he did was he had these subjects, and they focus on these fish or whatever. This is just the gist of it. And they focus on these fish going a certain direction, and overwhelmingly, like the fish would go a certain direction. Really fucking weird stuff. A lady named Lynn McTaggart, she's the writer of The Intention Experiment, did what she called a group mind experiment. And she has a bunch of readers online, and for 8 days, they focused on peace in one of the most violent areas in the world. They targeted the areas Sri Lanka, who had a civil war at the time for 25 straight years and more suicide bombings than anywhere on planet Earth. So they focused on peace and that direct area just on their minds. And there's a lot more to the actual details of the experiment. That's what they did for 8 straight days. They measured the violence at the time, and then they calculated what the violence would have been for October in a normal cycle. In the immediate aftermath of this thought experiment of focusing on peace in that area, death rates had fallen by 74% and injuries by 48%. Another experiment is to see if an intention could make a plant grow faster. They've done a lot of these things, but a large number of people in Australia sent energy to seeds, focusing on energy towards seeds, charged the seeds, and I go through all the specifics basically, but the control group, they did nothing compared to the control group that focused on the seeds growing. The seeds grew faster, and they grew twice as tall. as they normally would. And then kind of end here is the placebo effect. And this is all kind of what this is all we're talking about here. Anybody that's followed the placebo effect is study after study after study has shown that simply believing you have the right drug or alcohol or whatever the cure is for your disease is just as effective as actually having it. It's damn near close. And it's more effective if you're told that you didn't have it than if you actually did have it. Meaning if you actually had the pill but told you didn't have the pill, the person who was told they had the pill but didn't have it would have better results than the person that was told they didn't have it but actually had the pill. And a lot of examples. What do you think about all that?
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there for sure. It's interesting though, because I mean, Kelly's talked about it a number of times. It's just the like power of positive thought, right? When you kind of get into these like dark spirals, and so I think it's like on both ends, right? Like there's the power of positive thought, like you talked about, makes the seeds grow, or you focus your energy on that or the positive things in your life. On the other end, you focus all the negative energy of I got to pay this bill. How am I going to afford the holidays? How am I going to, keep the heat on? You focus on the negative shit, and then you'll start to spiral in that negative way. So it's interesting because I've never heard of those studies. So super, super interesting. I think the ones you brought up, like the plant one, and then specifically like the piece in Sri Lanka is fascinating. I'd love to know how many, I'll probably look it up because it is fascinating, like how many people they had in the focus groups.
Yeah, no, it's really, what do you think, Kelly?
Yeah, I think the placebo effect is the most interesting because I've said it for a long time, and I truly believe that your mind can do more healing than fucking anything. Everyone's looking for an outside thing, a doctor, a pill, something like that. But I wouldn't be convinced that, now this is going out on a complete limb, but I wouldn't be convinced if all fucking medicine was nothing more than a placebo, and they just keep pretending and pretend. Now, obviously, when you get into surgery and different things like that, it's a certain thing, but pills, I've never believed in pills. I've never believed in, I don't understand pill poppers or whatever. That scared me. So like I hardly even take Tylenol, but your mind can control a lot of things. And one example that I personally have is I was just sick for like a week straight, longest I've ever been sick in my entire life. And I just, I was in bed going, oh, I'm so sick. Oh, I have no energy. Every time I get up, I lose all my energy. I'm sweating, blah, blah, blah. And finally on Monday morning, I said, I don't care if I'm fucking sick. I'm getting up and I'm just saying you're not sick. And I'm going out and I'm living my life. And by Tuesday afternoon, I wasn't sick anymore. And that was after being sick for a week. I didn't take shit. I didn't take pills. I didn't do anything special. I just told my mind, like, get off your ass. You're not sick anymore. And I mean, I swear to God, like what I had, I don't know if it was COVID, a cold, I don't know what it was, but that probably will kill certain people that just say, yeah, I'm sick. This is it. I'm done. You know what I mean? But for me, I just turned it around because I said, no, I'm not sick. I'm done with this fucking bullshit. And that happens all the time with placebos. I just think so many people are in their heads. And that's why so many people that are always sick, and so many people that are never sick because they just think differently.
I think you saw that hugely with COVID. When I talked to people that were super diehard into COVID and it was the worst thing ever, they could name people that they knew somehow that died of COVID or whatever. But for me personally, who is very much did not believe in COVID from the day it came out, and I still not. I'm not saying that it can't kill you. I'm saying I just don't believe it's where anything close to what they say it is and all that bullshit. I've not seen or met a single person that I knew personally that has died of COVID at all. Not a single one. Because I just don't fucking believe in it. And that belief has carried throughout the last 2 years. And it's your belief really fucking controls your reality. But I know all these diehard liberals on there they will just obsess about it I will obsess about COVID until I finally see someone die of it. Great. That's a great way to
my mind.
A lot of people that have died of COVID too, they're just calling it COVID. I mean, I have even nurses and doctor friends that have admitted to that. Like, yeah, they just call everything COVID. So even if you know somebody that died of COVID, well, last year, 2 years ago, we were calling that the flu,
Yeah. Just before we get too far away from the subject there and go full board COVID, I'd just like to say my take was kind of whoever said it, like how your spirit kind of people rule that out when it comes to practical medicine and science, because you could tell people that their life, if a tragedy happens to them, you could tell like a shift in them, like, okay, they're pretty much toast now. And, it's like that whatever happened to them pretty much sucked the life out of them. You could tell because people, and that makes you get old quickly.
It's sad to see that happen too, because I think we've all known at least one person. I think we know someone personally that sits all day and drinks Mountain Dew, plays video games, where still it's been over fucking like 15 years. It's like you got to move on at some point. You got to get up and say,
Yep. And so many people nowadays just want to blame the world for all their problems. Well, it's like, what's that helping by complaining?
Yeah.
Jace.
Kelly, one of the things that you don't know is I knew you hadn't been feeling well, and your wife reached out to me, and I sent her some medicine, and she gave that to you rectally in your sleep on Monday evening, and that is why you feel so much better on Tuesday.
Hey, I'm trying to quantum jump these construction guys the fuck out of my house.
Dude, there is a reality where Mike Lindell has the evidence for election fraud and Trump's in office right now.
What did Matt, what did you just say on your point? Because I want to make a point on that really quick.
I just said how they discount the spirit when some people, they have something happen to them, like a tragedy, then they just fold up and they get old and wrinkly compared to someone like, Butch for his age, he's got all the life in the world. So,
and he's got like the best attitude out of anyone that I probably know. But there's other people out there that, the complete opposite, where you'll have like a 35-year-old that looks like they're 80, and then I've known people that like, oh my God, this guy's almost dead, he's 40 years old. And then you see him 5 years later or whatever, and then they look younger than you. And it's just because they changed their attitude, their lifestyle, all that shit. Mainly their attitude.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of us. I could tell, Mahomes comes on with a clean cut look today. You get a haircut or something. And
no, I actually need a haircut real bad.
Yeah.
Got the wings going.
Maybe it's your positive attitude today.
I guess so. We're doing this at a different time. You're not seeing me like just totally beat up from a hard day of work.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, didn't have to be an asshole about it.
It's
all awkward.
There goes my good mood.
Well, have you guys too, like
10 years in front of you guys?
You're like Benjamin Glutton. Just joking.
I aged 10 years and gained 300 pounds in front of you.
Have you guys been around this too? Like I try to be like as positive as humanly possible. Now we all have our spells, but I really try, like, I'm getting better and better of like just catching myself saying like, dude, that's fucking not, there's nothing really. You shouldn't be angry about anything in the entire world. So when you get angry, it should be fucking embarrassing. So do you ever have these things happen, like where you're trying to be positive, but then you get into like a negative situation or someone's just being really negative and it's like, it's you could feel that energy, that darkness. And it's like, I don't want to fucking be around that. I'm trying to be positive here. Uncle Tony, called the Cutler family empaths. Like we can feel people's emotions and shit. And I really think that that's fucking true. Like I can feel emotions as well as I can hear this drill right now.
Now I totally can read people pretty damn well. Like it's not hard for me at all. I could sense someone who's negative or something's fucking going on with them or whatever. Especially the mother of the Cutler family. Good God, there's some negativity spewing there.
Kelly, and that's a really good point because I live in an area down here in Nebraska that gets pretty heavy traffic from time to time. And I'll wake up like my morning routine, I'll get up, I'll have a good workout. And because I think there's a lot of like, that's probably somewhat of a placebo where I'm just like, if I have a good workout, I'll like, my mood will boost, whatever. Right. So I'm in a good mood on my way to work, and then some asshole cuts me off, and I'm like here all the way down to just flipping them off and screaming at them, and then like 10 seconds later, I'm fine, just like listening to the sports on the radio or whatever. I just have these moments where it's just a snap of just like murderous rage because some guy went in a little closer than I wanted him to, and then a couple seconds later, I'm listening to Bill call in about Scott Frost on the local radio.
I think when you get pissed off, that you think people care more than they really do. You're like, oh shit. Yeah, especially when you wake up the next day, like, oh man, I shouldn't have been an asshole last night. But most people are like, yeah, I don't, that's cool. It happens.
Or when you send a snap, you're like, that wasn't that big. I'm just hungover. I thought that was a big deal because I'm hungover. Then 5 days later, you realize they boycotted you. Yeah, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, something like that. That's basically
There's probably an alternate reality where a lot of people thought that was funny, and the boycott never happened.
Well, Pat and I have had conversations. I don't want to get into the virtue signaling because we talk about it so much on here, but we've had conversations where like people don't really get offended for the most part. They don't get offended for themselves. They get offended for somebody else by proxy, like that's the only time I get offended. Like, oh, what's so-and-so gonna think? But then I got to remind myself like, okay, if it was just me, I really don't give a fuck. I don't even know like what would offend me. Like, I really don't even know what would offend me nowadays. So anytime I get offended, I'm like, this is in place for somebody else, like that I'm concerned is going to get offended. But I think most people are like that. I don't think very few people actually get personally offended. They're more trying to look out for a weaker.
They're worried about what they look like in front of other people. Oh man, I can't do the Prison City podcast with Pat after that snap. So, because of what would Rock Creek think of me?
but you hit it on the nose, man. I'd love to see some of those freaking improv nights or shows that we did in Matt Freese's basement when we were in high school. I bet that's the worst shit that we've ever said or done in our entire lives. And I wish that I could go back and just be a fly on the wall because it's probably funny as fuck.
I'm sure it's funny. It was before everyone was like gonna be offended by anything. Because if there was recordings of that, we'd probably all be in some jail and being
well, I do have
prison right now.
I do have something from the he did give us the box of all the little writings. So I do have a shoebox full.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
So where
I have it over there somewhere.
Oh shit.
and I think just to end the conversation on virtue signaling, I think people don't realize it's not even politically motivated. It's like, how far are you going to take your virtue signaling to where you're actually going to stab somebody in the back and boycott them just so you look good in front of your peer group? It's like, do you realize what you're doing? Like, you're virtue signaling your way to hell.
Well, it's like, this is what I've noticed lately too. Hollywood can say whatever the fuck they want. Family Guy and American Dad and all these TV shows can say whatever the fuck they want. Like I said, Deadpool was playing on the TV when I left last night or yesterday for the show. And Tanner, 5 years old, sitting there watching Deadpool with Marissa. And just some of the shit that they were saying, I'm like, good Lord, that's even stuff that we'd be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't go there, But so it's like, it's okay for them to say whatever the fuck they want. Family Guy says terrible shit. I mean, terrible shit about everybody, including Jesus, but it's okay because it's on TV or something. But then you say, the FAG bomb in a bar, and all of a sudden, you're a complete homophobe, blah, blah, blah.
It depends on the intent. If it's made for joking, that's why I think comedy has a different realm. If it's made for joking, or it's part of a film, or it's clearly a film or a movie or a play or something like that, that's a whole other ballgame. Especially, not to harp on this anymore, especially on an app like Snapchat, which is set up for joking. I mean,
well, I think Kelly, like Family Guy and those, South Park famously is they have done whatever they want. I think a lot of people just let that go because it's a cartoon. So they don't take it's like not reality to them, right?
But Deadpool, isn't a cartoon. Yeah. There's a lot of movies like that, and he's talking about masturbating with a sandpaper dildo. It's like, I mean, that's not even the worst shit. That's just one example. And people would like lose their shit if one of us said that in a, at a church event.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm going to go back to one of the things he said about getting offended for others, though. That made me think of, like, as you were talking, like, what would be, because I'm pretty hard to offend. I mean, you guys can say, yeah, but it's when it's like the people close to me, whether it's you guys or family, or someone says some like disparaging stuff about those type of people, the people that I really care about. That's when I, for lack of a better word, that's when I get triggered to be like, you can't be saying that stuff about so-and-so, because people have said terrible stuff to me, and it's just whatever. I don't, fuck you too, then. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
yeah. Well, everybody, I think everybody has something that will offend them. It's just like for us sitting here, for me personally, it's like it's hard to think about. Like jokes and shit don't offend me. But yeah, if you were to say something about a family member or something, if you came up to in a bar and was like, man, your fucking brother or your friend Mark Mahoney's a fucking piece of shit, then yeah, I'd probably get offended over that. But you couldn't come up to me in a bar and tell me a joke that I'd be like, dude, fuck you. That's, I want to fight you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You shouldn't do that about anybody, but I mean, there's a lot of people that are pieces of shit that will do that and just come bash somebody in your face. You're like, what you do is like, I don't do that shit ever. Like, I'll never go up to somebody and know that they're friends with somebody and just start bashing the shit out of them in front of them. It's like, that's just fucking stupid.
Actually, somebody offended me just the other day, last week. I was at the Broken Arrow having lunch. We were trying to get ready for Home Alone, and somebody was sitting there and they started talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, I want to tag team with you guys, and who do projects and stuff." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, this is somebody that we've had connections with in the past." And then he's like, "So what's wrong? I see you guys and I tell you this all the time and you never call me." He goes, are you Cutler brothers, not men of your words? And for some reason I took offense to that, because I was like, fuck you, man. Fuck you, you pile of shit. When somebody that's like getting an F+ in life, when you're getting an A+ is trying to give you notes on how to do life or how to do entertainment, that's when it gets offensive. It's just like, maybe you haven't done anything and you're dying in your mom's basement because of your ego.
And you know what? And maybe that day when I showed up for 7 Brides and was supposed to just move set and ended up being in the show, maybe I didn't want to hear how my dance steps were a little bit off that day. Maybe I lost my cool.
Isn't that weird though? Because you got thrown into 7 Brides like that, the way that you just explained, that's probably why you did theater for so long and you even have an interest in it anymore, because of some fucking weird little thing like that happened,
Honestly, if we want to get like real deep, this could probably be a whole episode, but this is it makes sense in like the string theory thing. What happened, how I ended up like getting into theater, it all really goes back to Travis Evans, who was a friend of ours who passed away young due to, really terrible circumstances. But he was the original member of kind of the Who's Line game down in Freeze's basement. And at the time I was really good friend, my good friend, who could annoy the hell out of me, I'll give him that, was around. And then our friendship wasn't as close as it was because I was on a higher level in sports than he was, and he didn't like that. So all this things sort of coincide with like, he moves. I had started kind of hanging out with Kelly and stuff more. And then we had a friend pass away. And through those steps, I started getting invited to Who's Line. Who's Line turned into Comedy Night, which turned into my whole theater career, and it's all because of these certain butterfly effect or string theory, or call it whatever you want to call it, that ended up there.
Oh, it's Schroeder's cat theory.
One event will change the series of events. Now that we're getting...
Pat, one last thing on that, just because that's exactly how fucking Comedy Night goes now. We're about to do our 48th Comedy Night. And I've had so many people throughout history, well, how do I get involved with that or whatever? Really, Comedy Night nowadays is like Saturday Night Live. You can't audition or whatever. It's like you got to be invited. So I said, just because if everyone did it that wanted to do it, you'd have a 100-person cast. So people will get their opportunities, and then people also lose their opportunities because either they can't do a show or they don't commit to rehearsals or they don't get their lines, Comedy Night's very easy. If we have a slot open and you're the next on the totem pole, you're in, and you're pretty much in forever unless you like totally fucking bomb or something like that. And guess what? More people, I hate to say it, throughout history have bombed on that shit. I'm not talking about on stage, just bombed on the commitment in general, than have come through. And that's just sad to me. It's like, you can't commit to 5 fucking rehearsals in one show. Like, this is the least committed thing that you need to do in our theater.
Okay, so yeah, great discussion there, guys.
He's shitting his brains out.
Actually, I had to go grab another one.
The string theory is he had a burrito from Town Pump, and they observed him shitting his brains.
Strings of cheese coming out my asshole. Just finish up this this topic here on
Strings of cheese topic.
quantum physics. Experiments, you can look this one up too. Experiments have shown there is no object reality. There are only objective facts. I mean, sorry, there are no objective facts. That's about like COVID-19. I go on a lecture on that. Another thing, touch on briefly, a mind cannot tell the difference between reality and imagination. That's why imagination is so fucking important. A lot of books talk about this, and creating your own reality is your imagination is really, really important. And you can't stop imagining things no matter what you do, like anybody. The problem is most of us get stuck in that worst case scenario. If something goes wrong, you keep imagining the worst possible thing happening over and over and over again. So when you try to control your imagination, you control reality, your reality. Oh, here's one, water. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. This has been around for a while. They had this experiment in Japan. A guy named is Masaru Emoto. It was a Japanese scientist. And he studied the molecular structure of water. And basically, the experiment was pretty simple. He had people, 3 different groups of people. They had a glass of water, and one group yelled the most angry, vile things alive. Another group yelled the most disgusting things alive. And then another group said the most happiest, positive things alive. And then he froze the water to see what the results were for how their words and intentions and everything were affecting the water. I'll just show you this YouTube page on it. And the ones that were saying disgusting stuff looked terrible. The ones that said the loving things looked great, and the ones that the evil ones looked bad too. But the water crystals that developed that were frozen, and the ones that had love in them, were these amazing, beautiful crystals. You guys heard about this?
No.
Have not.
You have not heard about that?
I've heard it. I haven't heard of the water. I've heard of it like, I want to say it was like bread or something, where a similar experiment where they were baking bread and like would yell, like either be really terrible or then they'd be super loving and supportive, and similar sort of experiment. I haven't heard of the water, but a similar deal.
Didn't they do that shit at a school with plants where they talk good to one, then talk shit to the other one?
They've done it with plants. No, they have done it. No, that's true. They have done it with plants where they talk, and the one obviously they talk positively grows great or whatever. So it just talks about.
Hey, Mahoney, how would you like that? Your job is to talk shit to a plant.
I mean, how much? Like honestly, I'd like it so much I'd do it for free.
Mahoney's like,
first up mowing the lawn.
Mahoney's yelling at a rose. Oh, you're thorny? Well, I'm horny.
Nice.
Check this one out. Another one they did is they put in jars of rice, and one was to ignore the rice, one was to show hate to the rice, and one was to show love. The ignore, hate, love one's probably better because you can get like a control one of what happens if you don't say anything to it. And the one that had love, again, had the most stuff, and the one that had hate turned out looking like shitty rice. But these are all actual real experiments you can look up, and so it kind of shows you how your positive and energy, negative, and everything affects reality. And this is the last segment on quantum physics. Is this one, Kelly? You're gonna like this one. This is a take I had like a couple of weeks ago. So I've been talking to psychics as part of my witchcraft routine, and so I just told you the dangers of all this stuff, and this is the stuff I've been doing. So,
Jesus.
Here's my thing with psychics is this is the question I ask. Can they actually really read your future when things happen or come true when a psychic gives you a reading? Because a lot of the readings are like timeline is usually a lot of times just months down the road. Very rare as a psychic can be like, next week you're gonna get fucking married. it's extremely rare for a psychic to do that. Their readings usually tell stuff in the future or whatever. Can they really read their future when something comes true they say? Or are they simply implanting thoughts and ideas and things that will happen down the road? Or they say they're going to happen down the road, but in reality, your subconscious mind is taking that information and eventually leading you to the actions that ensure those events happen.
Yeah, I think it's number 2. It's just like we said about horoscopes. Some good news will come your way today. Well, that's kind of fucking vague, because good news and bad news comes our way every single day. So yeah, they're definitely just shaping your mind for something. But the craziest part about that shit is not the psychic, but how powerful your mind is. Because I've sat here talking about money again, and when I'm all laid back, I'm just like, oh yeah, money's just, it's coming, like cash is just coming, you know, I don't know from where, it's just coming. And it just fucking comes in. But once I try to start controlling that process, and it's not just about money, it can be about relationships or anything. Once you start trying to control that and just, I am the all-powerful God of money, then you start going backwards, you know, then you start losing money, then you start like worrying and losing sleep over it. But
it's a bizarre thing. And one of the quotes I read recently is like, never try to compete with a man who has nothing to lose. Because the person who has nothing to lose doesn't have any emotional attachment to the result. They just don't really care. Sometimes when you don't fucking care at all, things happen like crazy.
I think it's always when you don't care. I think that's why we were put here, is to not care, sit back and put your feet up and relax and just let fucking reality be awesome. But nope, we go and try and fuck it up.
So yeah, Mahomes, what do you think about the psychic thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot like Kelly made a great point. Like Kelly could tell me today and be like, hey, you know what? You're going to have chicken nuggets for dinner. And then that's all I can think about. He'd be like, in your future, you're going to have a 10-piece chicken nugget for dinner. And guess what? If he said that early enough, I'd be like, gosh, I didn't really want one, but I guess if that's my future, I probably should have some.
So I'm gonna start a test right today. I'm gonna say this. I've been thinking about this earlier today. In 6 months from now, Mahomes, you're going to be driving in a brand new red Ferrari. Not saying you're going to own it, not saying anything. I'm just saying you're going to be driving in the middle of May in the brand new red Ferrari. Make it happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I don't wreck it.
Matt, what do you have to say?
About Mahoney and the red Ferrari.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like it.
Either one.
I like it a lot. Yeah, no, I'm kind of going with you said something about how your imagination and mind are two separate things. And I thought that was very interesting because it is true. It's like, okay, your mind kind of knows what, you know, where you're at and the spatial awareness, I guess, and the time and what you have to do. But yeah, your imagination, it's almost a scary thing, you know what I'm saying? And I think going back to this whole bi-universe or whatever the hell you call it, yeah, it's a scary thing because you can imagine things that obviously hasn't happened, but it feels like somebody put these thoughts in my head, you know?
I do feel that too, like the natural occurring thoughts you have a lot of times where it's like, well, what can I trace this back to, or what happened, or whatever. Sometimes you can, other times you're like, okay, I've tried to get this thought in my head and I can't, and it makes no fucking sense at all. Why it's still in my head.
Yeah, or you have a song that you listen to, you're like, what does this remind me of? What does this remind me of? And some songs I can think of right now that I'm like, it reminds me of something, but I can't think of it for whatever reason. Just weird.
I just can't wait to watch this podcast. Mahomes is like 6 months. Fuck that. What about 6 days? Shows up in a red Ferrari over Christmas.
Doesn't even talk to us.
I drive to your guys' house in a red Ferrari. See, I don't tell you that I have to sell my house and everything.
You're right, guys.
Man. Positive thinking. I got to live out of this thing now, and my wife divorced me, but I got this car.
It's amazing. It's amazing though. Like the people that are the most successful are the ones that allow their imagination and their mind to just go, and they let it become things. They let it happen. I mean, look at fucking Walt Disney. If you've never seen his documentary, watch the Walt Disney documentary from a time, you know, back when, you know, people were farmers and merchants and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't really think, I mean, they thought creatively, but not like I'm on acid creatively like Walt Disney, you know? And then he's doing Fantasia and Bambi and Snow White and all this shit. It's like, how far does your mind have to go? Not just to think of that, because any of us can think as weirdly as we possibly can, but to actually produce it and let it become a tangible thing. And I guess the Cutler Brothers Theater, you know, not to toot our own horn, but it's pretty fucking amazing to think about. We're in our 30s and we were doing shows in our parents' backyard with like the curtains were blankets and shit, you know, over clotheslines, and the plays just sucked. And our neighbors came and watched, and basically it was just Westerns. You remember these where we pull out little cap guns and shoot each other? There's like probably no story. It's probably just terrible. And that led to what we're doing now, like with Home Alone and Footloose and everything that we've done on that stage. And it's like, man, and people are paying, like they're paying $20 a pop to come watch something that we imagined and something that we fucking created. People love it. So I'm just saying, why do we hold that back like it's a dog on a chain or something? Why don't we let it just fucking freely go because of judgment from others? Or I don't get that.
Yeah, there's a whole book by it's like, I think it's William Waddell's called The Science of Getting Rich, and he talks over and over and over about the focusing on the creative plane, not the competitive plane, just being creative as possible. He says that's really it's the best ideas and most successful things that we've done. And my specifically is when I didn't really care. It's just something. This is just really creative and wild. Let's just fucking do it.
I'll tell you this: you will never be a billionaire, and you will never be famous in this world by playing it safe. There's no fucking shot whatsoever. You have to get out of the mainstream line and do some wacko crazy shit where people just think you're insane. I'm not talking about like putting a picture of your dick on Facebook or something. I'm talking about like actually taking your deepest thoughts that have a lot of energy and passion behind them and making them a reality.
Now, you say that, but look how Kim Kardashian built her empire.
Well, that is true, yeah. But she's also hot, or she was hot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying too, because like if you have an idea, especially if you start telling other people about your idea, you're gonna get a mixed reaction. But
generally negative.
Yeah,
Generally
so
negative.
Those who actually push their idea are the successful ones. Like, for example, that horror movie chat group on Facebook, someone was talking about commenting on the Blair Witch Project. Someone posted something saying, "Oh, it was a big fat lady in their profile picture," but she's like, "Oh, anybody can take a camera and go do this." I was like, "No, you couldn't." And
then
no,
why haven't
wouldn't.
they?
Yeah, I was like, "No, you wouldn't."
That's why we are such a leg up on society. And again, I'm not tooting our own horn. I'm just talking about what we're doing, like with Redgate and shit, because sometimes we're like, oh, well, who wants to watch a version of Jesus Christ Superstar that we produce in Deer Lodge, Montana? Well, who the fuck else is doing that during coronavirus, right, Pat? Or like Redgate, who else took a camera and went out and filmed it? Probably less than 1% of even filmmakers.
1% of 1%. I mean, nobody did that
Yeah.
shit. Nobody. So yeah, hopefully that lands then.
I mean, even if it doesn't, we're just so far ahead of just you want to get ahead as a filmmaker or as an entertainer, just fucking do it. Just start doing it. You're already beating the majority of entertainers, you know.
I'm kidding. So we're gonna move into my final segment here, and this is my thesis segment on all of this as I tie this
Buckle up, folks.
all in. And this is where it gets a little bit dark, folks.
Yeah, let's round that thesis.
I have wished for the murder of 27. No, I'm just kidding. It takes the darkest turn alive. After we talked about
No shit.
He's like, you've heard of Pavlov's dog? This is called Patrick's dog.
He's like, Kelly, you missing your cat? Schroeder's cat, baby.
Hey, but don't worry, Kelly. It's alive, man.
It's half alive.
We're going to do this experiment live on the podcast.
So, what I'm about to present to you guys is fucking weird. No, no, it's this is a continuation of the discussion we've had so far. And honestly, the question I tried to ask, and I studied this for a couple of years to try different things. There's actually a method called the 2-glass method. You should look that up on YouTube. It's a quantum jumping type method. You use 2 glasses to focus on something and make it happen, or whatever. But my honest to God thesis and question I asked the entire time, for the most part, is can you honestly jump from one reality to another in a short period of time? Whether that be through like a strong meditation or mental thing or whatever. A lot of people that I read on these kind of quantum jumping is everything's fucking energy. So if you put enough energy and focus into anything, you can fucking make it happen. My question though is, could you do something on a short period of time like that video we played earlier about the guy that went from one reality to the next, like in a couple days, and one day he just woke up, he was a different reality. So like I've done like all these different meditations and stuff. There's one called identity shift meditation. It takes you through a process of changing your identity and thinking about what that person would do and act like. And this kind of like the act if principle. If you've read that, if you act like you're successful, you're going to be successful. That's really fed you. Like Kelly mentioned, anybody actually have money, you're going to have a lot of money. One of the interesting things is that ones I've come across is called the I don't think it has an official name. It's part of a quantum jumping meditation I've done, and it focuses on a past event in your life. And by changing like a past event in your life, visualizing this past event, whether it be traumatic or not be traumatic, whether it be something significant to you, doesn't matter what it is, by changing the result of that past event. So what you do in this meditation is you go through and you visualize yourself that exact moment in time. You're right there, remembering every little detail. So it has to be an event you remember quite a bit about. And you change the details of that event, whether it be something you do or something that happens. You change that details of that event, and that shifts you to a different parallel reality if that one event changes. So to add some more to this, there's a guy called Brian Scott, and he founded something called the Reality Revolution. He has a book on it on the YouTube channel and stuff. What happened to this guy was the Broncos won the Super Bowl. He's a diehard Broncos fan. And same night the Broncos won the Super Bowl, he's sitting in his house on this chair, and it was after the game. And all of a sudden, this voice in his head starts telling him, get up. You need to get up now. So he hears his cat at the door. He gets up to go to the door, and the door swings open, and there's a guy with a gun right in his fucking face. And the guy does a home invasion, robs this entire apartment, shoots him. He's flying across the room as he's getting shot. He finally scrambles to another room and calls the police and stuff. And he said he experienced some kind of a quantum jump that night because he felt like someone told him to get up. If he didn't get up and go to the door, he'd probably be dead today. He did a meditation that went back to that past event where he envisioned that entire event happening, him sitting in that chair, and he envisioned himself telling himself in the past to get up and move and go, get out of there or go to the door or whatever. And he believes that quantum jump. So it's a weird fucking thing to think about. So this is one of my pictures, my last picture I'm going to pull up. I kind of drew this together right before the show today. And this is just a picture of something scratched out. So this is just basically a summary of kind of what we talked about so far. An event that I personally remember back in 2001. I had a gut feeling I was supposed to go a certain direction. I'm not going to get into a bunch of details. And instead I went another direction because I didn't really want to go that direction I felt I was supposed to go. So point A here, right there at the bottom is 2001. That's where the event happened. So point A is me going in my own direction, and every single dot after that direction is different than point B. Whereas point B, you can see the dots line up differently. And then at some point, maybe both those realities collide at some point or cross. Maybe they don't, maybe they're just parallel. I did this as they crossed over each other. That's not really significant. The point is that the two realities go two different directions. The actual reality I went to is today, modern day, 2021, the reality I'm in right now. And B is, I made this different decision and went with what I felt at the time. It leads me to a completely different 2021. This is kind of like off the movie Back to the Future 2. So my question is there a possible way that you do like a deep meditation or something like that, where you could quantum jump from an alternate reality from the current 2021 and to the other 21 where this one event was played completely differently using one of these meditations? What do you think of that idea?
I think it all has to do with time. You hit it on the nose with the Back to the Future thing. So you want to, I back in 2004, I wanted to be a comedian, and I could have just taken the route that a wise Kelly would have taken right now. I know how to be a comedian, or, I know the steps to do it. And, instead you go to parties and you fucking fail out of college and then you move back to Montana, and you just,
I thought you were gonna say fuck a fatty.
You fuck a fatty. Yeah, did a couple of those. So all those fatties and all those parties, that's on a completely different timeline to get to your destination of 2021, being on Saturday Night Live and being a professional stand-up comedian. So anyways, whenever you get to that crossroads like you had on there, Pat, I think the only way to alleviate that quantum jump is to speed up that process, to do things somehow twice as fast or however much time you've lagged behind to get you to 2021 if you didn't fuck around and you stuck to what your goals should have been. But we make decisions and we live by them, and And unfortunately, it's hard to gain more time, but I mean, it's not impossible to make things happen quicker, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I was just saying, do you think you can mentally go back and maybe not on a physical level, like physically change into another reality, but you think mentally, if, Uncle Tony talked about this too, if you went back at a specific event in your head and just changed the results, you think that would affect you in your current reality?
I mean, sorry, just last thing I'll say is just everything is mindset, you know? So you can wake up and say, you know what, today I want to be a businessman and I want to shave and cut my hair and wear a suit. And then everyone's going to treat me differently. And I'm going to talk with charisma and, you know, like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm going to read a book today. Or I could say, no, I want to do the opposite. You know, I want to wear sweats. I want to go eat McDonald's and sit on my ass and watch Netflix all day. You can choose infinity things that you want to be during the day. Most of us choose the same thing we did yesterday, but you could choose to be someone different every single day. And yes, I think that would speed up the process just by pretending with your imagination that you're Steven Spielberg or whatever you're trying to be.
Or that you won something that you lost in the past or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, I was just going to say, do you think a lot of people do that just to get some type of closure on this, whatever happened to them, or not happened to them per se, but like, man, I wish I can go back to this point and change it because the way I'm having it is like, man, this is so much worse than what it could have been. Like I said, grass is green on the other side. So you think a lot of people do this shit just to get closure, kind of like, okay, my mind's at ease now, I can live again or live.
There are methods, whether there be meditation, hypnotic methods, they take you back through a past event and they use that method to get closure on something that happened. That is a true thing, actually, and helps relieve that person. So then they're not, you know, because in your subconscious, a lot of times you're still making decisions on some event that didn't go your way or didn't, you know, go the way you wanted it to. That still impacts your perception of your reality. Which you know,
did you say method or meth head?
Well, Mullins, what do you think about all that?
I think it's interesting because, like I said earlier, we'd probably all like to go back and see, like, if I did this different, what would it be like? But then it also gets into that, like, that slippery slope of how long do you keep asking that question, right? Say I go back and make a different decision. Well, now I have this whole new timeline that's going to have other different decisions that I need to now make. And, you know, how many times can you go back, whether it's meditation or whatever it is, to continue to make different decisions? I mean, it's super interesting. I'd love to know what I'm doing in a different universe right now. Like, are we all talking like this in another universe, or is it totally different? You know?
So yeah,
I was just gonna say it kind of sounds what you're saying. You seen the movie Click with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Where things aren't going his way, so he basically fast forwards the bad parts and does whatever. That's kind of, yeah. It's scary to think like how. Like you want to reach the end point, but it's like no one enjoys the journey, or it's very hard to.
Oh, well, and the other part is, adding on to that, there's a lot of really positive views on quantum jumping. But there was one lady that I listened to. She didn't have a lot of views, but she made some really good points about, okay, you know, theoretically, say if quantum jumping really totally worked exactly how you wanted it to, you would miss. It could be bad because you would miss all those events and experiences that happened up to that other reality. So you lost a lot of experience of what made you that person, that other reality. So you kind of miss out on that. And then if you did quantum jump into another reality, well, you might, you know, be divorced or single or living by yourself. You might have $1 billion, but you're completely depressed because no one likes you. Or, I mean, like there's so many different things that you alter your one reality. And you think, well, that could fuck up a lot of things in my current reality that I kind of actually like right now.
Yeah.
I think the biggest form of quantum jumping, we've all done quantum jumping, and the biggest form of that is think of the biggest experiences or decisions of your life, like asking your wife to marry you, or asking a girl out, or getting a job, or deciding fuck it and you're standing up and you move, you know, 3 states away, or whatever your biggest decisions in life have been, that you're like, you just feel like you're busting down a brick wall. You know what I mean? Just like, fuck it, let's go. And I think that's a form of quantum jumping because you've made a huge decision and it drastically changed the outcome of your reality.
Oh, I think like the big events, like when you do something big like that, I think it definitely is a form because it changes how you perceive reality. It changes everything. Your reality itself completely shifts.
That's why we talk about being uncomfortable. Like the best place you can be in life to make big moves is to do something uncomfortable. And I've heard that a lot. And one thing I want to say about earlier, Pat mentioned something that made me think of it. I knew this billionaire once, and he was getting interviewed, and they were like, "Well, how did you make all your billions? How are you so successful?" He goes, I just shut my eyes and listened really deeply to myself, to my soul, and then it would just, whatever seemed right, that's what I would do." So maybe there's something there. We're like, shut the fuck up. Stop thinking you're smarter than everything else, including yourself. Shut your eyes and just go, yeah, I probably should move in that direction, and then do it,
I agree with that. I just think a lot of times if you truly do that, truly and honestly do that, you're going to be doing some crazy ass shit.
Nice.
But it probably will move you in the right direction. So the last part here, just a second.
He's got some cum stuck in his throat.
God.
That's what we observed.
My throat sounds like those drills going at it in your basement or whatever.
Hey, look, quantum jumping. I said I wanted them to leave, and then they left.
So the actual results of everything I've done up to this point is, Matt just left. The actual results is that I've realized is that overall, regardless of what you want to do, if you're manifesting something small, like you want a really nice cup of coffee tomorrow, like if that's what you're manifesting, that's thinking about, it's pretty easy to manifest. But for the most part, things take like fucking time to happen. It just all takes time. I haven't found any way of shortening up the time on anything, and I don't think that's really the point. Like, but you should be careful what you think about every single day, because when you think about things like, okay, this is going to take some time to happen, well, you shouldn't panic and think these crazy thoughts, because those crazy thoughts you're thinking 2 years ago are going to start manifesting into your current reality. And that's kind of what I experienced when I woke up one day. I'm like, I'm divorced in a frozen field in Montana doing Jesus Christ Superstar during a global pandemic. It's like, how did we get here? It's like, well, technically for 2 years straight, I watched that Jesus Christ Superstar John Legend version, watched it over and over and over again. All I thought about was chaos and shit. And like, it's like, okay, well, it happened. So yeah. I really believe what you put your feeling and real, like feeling and energy into your thoughts, when you're really putting that into it, things will manifest, but they take time. And that's one of the things I've read about that I really feel like it's true. And what I'm kind of alluding to here is once you send that energy out on that particular thought, you have strong feeling, strong energy on that thought, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back. You just don't know when. And a lot of times, people say like you sit up and you try to make big changes in your life. You keep like making changes. You can't, it doesn't work out. Everything seems to get in your way and trying to make these changes. That's because your past energy that you gave out is coming back to you at that moment. So like when I tried to do sales over and over and over, and all I could do is movies, it's like, that's because my past thoughts and energy were all directed towards something completely different. So it made it hard to get into that stuff or whatever. So that's why, I kind of end on this is like, I kind of do agree with Mike Freeze saying that I probably shouldn't have messed around with witchcraft, because that's probably, I'm probably going to come back here in the next coming months. But good news is once Jesus Christ Superstar is done, I'm going to be out of town, thousands of miles away on a beach drinking a margarita, and everybody else can deal with the chaos, right? That's how it works. Alternate universe.
Well, and the other thing is too, you can put I call them seeds. So like you set up these seeds, you're right. A cup of coffee doesn't take much of a seed, but something bigger than that to land a movie in Hollywood takes a lot longer time. But you know what? Your dreams and reality is going to be
Jesus.
It's going to come from other people. It's not you pulling the levers, It's like Jesus Christ Superstar, for instance, Pat. Like you didn't plan that Jesus Christ Superstar to happen at all. That just came out of the universe that we were planning on doing a concert there, and then you happen to be here.
I'm saying if my thoughts weren't so much on that and all these different thoughts I had up in the last for a couple of years, drinking vodka by myself at night, but yeah, I'm saying like everybody comes together eventually for what you're feeling, and at the universe that's a good point you have. The universe only conspires for you and your thoughts. It doesn't conspire against you. So the things and people will come into your lives when you're thinking about it, and talking about planting seeds is like, yeah, that's why I buried all those spells I cast. I planted the seeds. I literally planted the seeds.
God.
You did. You sure did. Oh, I can't believe you did witchcraft. I mean, I can, but like.
I mean, I can. Just gotta get out there and check your ego at the door, plant those seeds, and
Pat, wouldn't you say that we all do witchcraft pretty much every day? Because anytime you think something, that's a form of witchcraft, because you're planting that seed, you're planning for something that's going to come back to you.
Well, this is what I read online too about it. It's like they're talking about, like, because people, what happens is, and this is where I kind of regret some of these love spells I casted or whatever, they say what happens is you're just going along, you're like, oh, I cast that a while back, not a big deal, and then like people get on there and complain, like, it comes back, it's like, this person's psychotically obsessed with me, how do I end this? You're like, well, you can't really end it right now, it's kind of manifesting right now. You're in the middle of there's no like magic button you can hit that just like ends the thing all of a sudden. It's like,
right. But I think we talked about it a while ago. I have something I call the garden. It's just a box, and you should all have one, and you just write down your goals, like, this is what I want, and be as specific as possible. And I'll just write stuff down there. I should do it every day, but sometimes it gets rough, and I'll just throw it in the box, and I completely forget about it. Then a year or two from now, I'll open it up and see what I asked for on June 9th of 2019, and most of it, if not all of it, has come true. And I also plant seeds in the stock market. This is the last thing I'll say about the seed thing, but I'm doing a 10-minute stock market thing where because I was watching every tick and it was driving me nuts. I go down a penny, go up a penny. I just be like, oh, fuck, you lose your mind. So I'm just like, no, this is what's going to happen. I plant the seed. I walk away for 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes, and I come back. And sometimes I dig up those seeds after 5 minutes, and it's not going my way. I'm like, you fucking idiot. You can't dig up your plant before it's grown. You know what I mean? So 10 minutes, and man, we're going to have some major success. We really are.
Oh yeah. I honestly do agree with Mike Free. I don't really want some of these seeds to germinate here in the next couple of months.
You should have thought about that 2 months ago, man.
They are out in the universe now, my friends. No.
But that shit's going to happen anyways, Pat. That's what I'm saying. I think witchcraft is happening all the time, just with our thoughts, because we've all had people that are like obsessed with us. We've all had people that we're obsessed with and other things like that. Whether you're practicing it or not, you're thinking things, and everyone else is thinking things too. So it just seems like reality is going to happen.
Yeah, and I'll go back to Haiti. People who live in Haiti, they see zero difference between voodoo and the Catholic Church. It's the same thing. You're putting out energy into the world and everything, and things come back. But your thoughts are creating your reality no matter what. I think I like to use witchcraft as some of the examples, like, because like you do put like a love spell on someone, love spell is an example, a specific example, but say in your life or whatever, you want to do something and you're like, oh, that looks really cool. They always say with love spells, like, well, you don't really know that person that well. So like you have this vision of this person that's whatever in your head, and then it comes true. And what all love spell does is heighten up who they actually really are. So if that person's a complete and absolute piece of fucking shit, well, now you're kind of stuck with that. And that's no different than like, I want to be a billionaire. What if you're just working 100 hours a week and life just fucking sucks? It's like,
yeah, exactly. Because like when we all met our girlfriends or wives or whatever, you think about the first day you met them. Your impression of them now is 100 times different. Like, it's not even like close to that person that you thought they were or thought they'd become or whatever. I mean, that's at least my experience.
Well, that's why I don't meet people. I just put love spells out there now.
So Kelly, did you wake up today and you're like, this isn't my wife?
That is not my cat in the corner with that poison doing the Pavlov dog thing or whatever Pat called it.
Doing the Pavlov dog thing.
Pavlov dog.
Oh, brother.
Hey, Pat, I was holding up my dead cat. Now, which end's alive, Pat?
But yeah, so I think we're gonna round these horses here, and
Round them up.
we'll be back here next week for a Christmas special episode. It's gonna be really fun. On top of that, we're gonna have a really good Christmas episode that'll air probably right before Christmas. I do have to announce that Jesus Christ Superstar 2020, the trailer that we referenced here in this episode, it is going to be coming out on Christmas Day. It's gonna be really cool. We're gonna debut it on Easter, and it's going to be streaming on one of the major networks, maybe Peacock, maybe Netflix. On just putting that out into the atmosphere here, because I think a couple months that could really grow into our favor. So
Yeah, plant that seed.
Plant that seed, man.
Maybe it'll stream in your mom's garage. That's what she said about Cutler Brothers when we first started. She did. She said maybe we'll be doing $3 bill or whatever the first show was. Maybe we'll be doing that in the garage. But you know what? That motivated me.
I would certainly hope so, because that's a all-time bitchy comment to say to someone.
I don't know. The rejection motivates you so much more than anything else. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, you want to be successful? Well, you're not going to be. How's that sound?
You're going to do this at the Rialto?
Listen, not if I burn it down first, okay?
God.
Oh my God.
You just don't want to hang around those people 24/7.
Well,
all right.
Yeah, I know we're around the horses, but Matt said it perfect, and I just want to reiterate. Whatever your dreams and goals are, hold them close to your heart. I mean, you probably shouldn't even share your deepest dreams with anybody, but you should have just maybe, a couple of good friends or a family or whatever, but don't share it with anybody, because most people either are negative or they don't fucking get it. They're definitely not going to be passionate like you are about it, because you've thought about it for so long. And that kind of takes the wind out of my sails when I'm like, hey, and no offense to anybody, but I'll say something to my dad. Hey, look, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, did you?
Oh, I know.
It just takes the wind out of your sail.
I talked to
yeah, don't share it with anybody.
I just talked to Mom today about the trailer for Jesus Christ Superstar. We've been working on for 2 years. I was like, it's be released on Christmas Day. Oh, cool.
Good for you.
Yeah. Well, they haven't sat there and thought about it for years and months on ends like you have, so you can't really expect much from people. I find I get people passionate or electrified or energized about projects when I'm like, okay, I have to explain this to people. I mainly you guys or our parents. I have to say, this is why this is a cool idea. And then I'll give this, huge speech or whatever, but people aren't just going to be at that level that you're at right out of the gates. You got to kind of bring them up,
Well, and you need a lot of help too from people.
You do. You got to convince them. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, fully. So let's go ahead and round those horses up here. Starting with you tonight, Matt.
All right. Just going back to this quantum leap stuff. There's a movie out there called, I think, Touchdown. Has Kurt Russell in it as his high school coach, where this star quarterback breaks his leg and basically ends up living in town the rest of his life and becomes a farmer. Then there's this other guy who doesn't get hurt, and he goes on and lives the NFL lifestyle and stuff. But there's a part, or basically the movie, something happens where he tries to kill himself, passes out, and has this dream or alternate reality, I guess, where he goes back and now he's the starting quarterback again of the team, and things are going his way, or blah blah blah. But I just wanted to say, I think we've all thought on that level once in a time, because I know everyone on this board would love to go back and play just one more freaking game under the lights, and I guess that's what I really related to. And it's kind of crazy, maybe in another world, I guess.
Yeah. By the way, I actually seen that movie Touchdown. I watched it up in Alaska. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's a little bit of a B movie, but it's actually a really good movie. It's kind of interesting the way it explores changes things in the past. Kelly, your final thoughts on tonight?
The quantum leaping episode has been interesting. I think anybody that listens or anything we all should want to explore our minds a lot more, because what do we use, 5% of our brains or something, or maybe not even that. I think that should concern us. Why do we have this fucking thing? What if we use 5% of our heart, or any other piece of our body? So I just think it's okay to think about things like this, and really I think it's beneficial if you do. But if not, You're just going to be the one of the majority standing in the soup kitchen line, doing what everybody else is doing, the easy, boring life. And at the end of it all, you're going to go, what the fuck happened to my life? Like, how did I get from graduating from high school to now I'm, on my deathbed? So take risks, get uncomfortable. That's the only way to live if you want to get out of the main line, the mainstream. And it's a lot more fun too.
That's a ton more fun, actually. I would say with that heart analogy, they've actually found that the heart is actually 60 times more powerful than the brain. So if you're really able to use that heart energy when you're doing your love spell, that will be a lot more effective.
Cheese and rice.
I know. And Mahomes, what's your final statements for tonight?
As we round these little horsies here, I think it really is. It's all perspective, and this stuff is kind of. I think all of us are guilty of it at one point or another, and getting caught in what if, like what if this, what if that, and so you really, instead of living in that fantasy land, you can either wait for owls to appear and then you're going to show up in the fantasy land, or just be really focused on living the life that you have. And the one thing I always tell people is I've been able to have success in my life because I wasn't afraid to take a chance, because to me, if you're gambling on yourself, like that's the one bet you can control, right? It's the only time where you can control the house, because you are the house, because you're gambling on yourself. So I think that's the whole piece of it, is just really focus on, these are the positive things I have going. The negative stuff is going to happen. Like no life is all good. There's going to be some bad. So don't get caught in the what if, and just enjoy what you're doing. If you see a shit ton of owls, try not to go to sleep that night, because you might wake up somewhere else.
Yeah, I have to admit, you don't want to get caught on. And what if I was kind of there for about 2 years, and talking about the fantasy land became my reality. And it was a lot of fun. And then we made a bunch of movies and stuff, and actually it's going really good, to tell you the truth. So maybe we should live in the what if.
Okay. You know what? Take my advice, throw it out the window, practice voodoo, practice witchcraft, whatever you want.
No, I think the point is honestly, the focus on the now, and appreciate everything you have now, and then set goals for your future. And just know that what you're thinking about right now is going to happen. So if you're thinking about nothing and you're just kind of going, taking life by the seat of your pants or whatever comes your way is just going to be a bunch of random shit. You're just kind of floating out there. So my thing is, now that you realize your thoughts, without a doubt, kind of control your reality, you really should set some goals. I don't care how you do it. Write it down, say it, verbalize it, whatever, but really do that. But the other thing I want to say is, kind of with our past comparisons about love spells, you don't really know that person, so you probably shouldn't do a love spell. And it's the same when you try to visualize a future of being a billionaire or whatever. Do you even know what that's like? And that's why I say try a lot of different fucking things, because it's hard it's really hard. Even you got people walk around, they're 60, they still don't know who they are or what they really want to do with their life. So, really try a lot of different shit. And then once you kind of figure out who you are, if there's one thing, the one of the measurements I use is like, if you keep going back to the same fucking thing, no matter what you do, no matter what I've done, I've tried to do education, sales, all these different things. It keeps going back that I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm a fucking filmmaker. That's just who I am. And that might be a harder path and everything. But at some point, you got to accept the fact of who you actually are and focus on being the best version of yourself. And then you're not living in some bizarre fantasy land, right?
The problem is when you realize all this stuff, that you can literally do anything you want in life. My problem isn't a lack of things to do. My problem is, what do we do? Because I know that we could be successful at anything that we want to do. And unfortunately, I like it all. Like, I like being a business guy. I like movies. I like the theater. I like, I would love to have a rock and roll band. I love Das Fruit. I like so many frickin' things that it's like, but it's harder to become successful unless you really put all your eggs in one basket. For me, it's just, I'm not sure which basket I want to pursue.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, my last tip is check out the movie Parallel. It's on Amazon Prime for free. Parallel. It's really fucking cool. It will really blow your mind on the concept of parallel realities. It's just a cool little film. Parallel, Amazon Prime. And that's Amazon Prime is probably where Jesus Christ Superstar will stream Easter weekend. So we look forward to that connection with Amazon. All right. Thank you guys, and good night.